The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Did you hear that?
Welcome to this week's Salmon Says podcast. It is Salmon along with you. After we get past Memorial Day, and Memorial Day next year might take on a new meaning. Now, of course, it's supposed to be about the fallen soldiers, which we very much appreciate. It's also going to be remembering those who, since the beginning of the year, have passed away due to the COVID-19, aka coronavirus. So, it doesn't have to be on Memorial Day, but it's going to be kind of Memorial Month, maybe, the whole month of May next year. We'll see what happens with that. With that said, that's what we're going to talk about today on the podcast, okay? I understand there are people who don't want to wear masks, okay? There are people out there that say, government can't tell me what to do. I'm going to do whatever I want. You know, I'm a robot. I never get sick. I don't carry any germs. You know, I poop rainbows. My farts don't stink. It's what you might as well say on those last few things, because that's what you're essentially saying. Now, you're not wearing the masks for yourself. You're wearing them for other people, okay? I continuously have neighbors in my neighborhood who are having parties of 25, 30, 40 people almost every weekend. The people hosting these parties have jobs where they're involved with the public every day. They work in jobs where they're face-to-face with public every day. They could be spreading it on to their family and friends and don't even know it. Because that's the thing with coronavirus is you don't even know you have it. For a week, 2 weeks later, maybe you don't have any symptoms at all and you pass it on to somebody else and give them symptoms. Wouldn't you feel horrible if you passed it on to somebody and they got sick and they died, or they just got sick and you gave it to them? You didn't even know you had it? I hope that doesn't happen to anybody, and I'm sure it has. That's what's so bad about this COVID-19 thing, is it's just so new to everybody. We're taking all the precautions we can. Yes, masks are good, I think. Now, I originally started off not wearing them around the little town I live in, okay? I thought, I'm just going to, run the store real quick and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Now I'm the only one that runs into that same store wearing one. I stood there the other day waiting for food to be made that I ordered, and I stood there for 10 minutes. I had my mask on. Okay, there was 8 or 9 customers that came in and out, 2 employees and me. So between 9 and 11 people, I was the only one wearing masks that entire time. People weren't doing the social distancing even. They weren't doing anything like that. I met a guy the other night who wanted his church service to continue, and he went to a different church. And they sat 6 feet apart, but then after that, they shook hands. They had communion. Now, look, I'm all about communion. I love to do communion. I help serve it at my church. I'd like to get the church body back together as a church body, but right now I don't think it's a good time. I just think this is too new yet. I still think there's going to be a spike. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong. I would like to be wrong on this one, but I just think that it's going to spike. You see people in Missouri over the weekend out there in a public pool, 30 people, whatever it is, 40 people in this public pool. Well, doesn't apply to me. Okay, it's over. They lifted the ban. Let's go. Be stupid. Hello? No. You can't do that yet, okay? It may be a while before we can do any of that. But this is Salmon Says podcast.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Unleaded Gas.
Welcome back to Salmon Says. I'm going to throw some numbers at you here on the Salmon Says podcast as we're talking about the coronavirus. And there's still people, and I know people. I met a guy the other day that said, well, I don't like them telling us what to do. Okay, I have another friend of mine that says people are going way out of control. He said this like a month ago. Since he has said that, there's been close to 60,000 people that have died in the United States alone from the coronavirus. I don't think people are going crazy. When right now the number's at 99,000 this morning. It's very, very close here in the United States that have died from coronavirus. So I don't think people are going overboard by wearing masks and, standing 6 feet from each other or whatever it is, okay? Here's some numbers. Confirmed worldwide, 5.54 million people, okay, have had coronavirus. 348,000 deaths worldwide. I have mentioned there were almost 100,000 of those here in the United States. That means 2.27 million have recovered. You look at the numbers, February 14th, March, April 26th, May 20th, okay? The numbers have been the highest. They've been 100,000 cases. 100,264 to be exact on May 25th. That's not something to take lightly. I also met a guy the other day who wanted to, he says, well, I just don't like them telling us what to do. You know, you can't tell us what to do. We don't have to, you have to put all these restrictions and we can run my business or we can't run my business and blah, blah, blah. Actually, we do. Because if people aren't, how do I want to say this? I'm not going to be gingerly about it. I'm just going to say it. Those rules are made for people that don't want to follow rules, okay? Or people that aren't smart enough to follow rules. That's why they have to make the rules. Those of us who have common sense and would be able to figure out that we shouldn't be doing these things don't need those rules. But those that think, oh, I'm, 100% healthy, I'm not going to get the virus, I'm a robot, I poop rainbows, all that stuff, they're the ones that are helping this last so long. They're the ones carrying this all along, okay? God bless the hospital workers. God bless them. That has got to be an awful job when you sign up to be a nurse, doctor, any kind of hospital worker like that, where you're dealing with patients, and then this all happens, and you're there all the time, and you're risking your life every day to do this. You're heroes. You really are. You really are heroes, okay? I want to thank truck drivers for transporting these goods. Where would we have been 2 months ago without all this toilet paper? People were doing this toilet paper craze. Yes, I agree. That was crazy. That was weird. Okay, people hoarding food is weird. But if it wasn't for truck drivers, we wouldn't have any of that stuff to do, So we wouldn't have the supplies we need either. For those of us who did get stocked up on supplies and are good to go, thank you to the truck drivers as well. For those people who just say, oh, I don't understand all these rules. They can't tell us what to do. This is a free country. Well, they have to make those rules because not everybody is smart enough to follow rules or follow common sense things that you shouldn't do. You should use hand sanitizer. You should wash your hands. I do that all year long before this ever happened. Okay? I know people like my parents that use hand sanitizer religiously. They did before this even started. Your social distancing thing. We could probably figure that out on our own. I mean, yes, they told us, businesses can only have so many people. Churches can't do this and this and this. You know what? I say they make these rules for a reason. We elect these people to office. We put them in charge. They're making the rules because there's going to be people out there. They're going to be like, I'm not going to follow these rules. Neener, pants on fire. And then they're going to spoil it. And they're going to get everybody sick. What was that church? I remember where it was here in the United States. A couple months back. 65 people, I think it was, in that church that got coronavirus. In the same church. Now, that probably started with somebody going, neener. I'm not following state guidelines, We don't need to do this. We don't need to do that. You can't tell me what to do. Well, yeah, actually we can, because it's people like you that are ruining this, okay? They're making this go longer. I heard the best quote I've heard in a long time from somebody a couple weeks ago that said, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. This is Salmon Says.
Dudes, all right. Hey, this is Surfer Joe, and I'm part of the Surf Iowa Council, man. When you're planning your next family vacation, think Iowa. For the best in jet skiing, wakeboarding, water skiing, and of course, surfing, dude. Surf Iowa. All right.
It's Salmon Says.
Is the economy hurt? Yes. Are we eventually going to have to get back to some sort of normalcy? Yes. I think we should very much ease into it. Okay? I think the president and the CDC and whatever other organizations, the health departments, are easing people back. But those people in Missouri that got 30 people into a pool, there's a very good chance some of those people got infected with coronavirus. Some of them had it, probably didn't even know it, and infected many others around them. And it lives on. This virus lives on. These rules live on. These rules that they don't want to follow live on because they're not following the rules. They're passing this thing along to people. Now, do I know for sure that any of those people are affected? Absolutely not. I don't know. Chances are they didn't know they were either. That's the thing about this virus. It's not like the flu, okay? It's not like, you have it. Okay, I got the flu, I'm coming down with something, don't share a drink with me. It's not you may not have symptoms for a week after you get them or more. You may not have any symptoms of all. I talked to a guy that deals with people all the time. He worked with a guy who was probably 20 years older than him at least. This guy has a lot of health problems, diabetes, stuff like that. He got coronavirus. All he got was a headache out of it. That's all he got. He wasn't anywhere else. He didn't die, nothing else. He got a headache out of it for a couple days, and then he was good, and he's back to work. So it affects different people different ways, okay? But you don't know it's going to affect you. You don't know if you're carrying it around. It's odd if you go to a funeral now because, at least in the state I live in, you can't have paper at the funeral. You can't have any kind of, paper at the funeral. Any kind of, well, not brochure, but what do you call it? Bulletin. You can't do it at church services either. And if you go to church services, you're supposed to be wiping down your hymnals every time you use them. How are you supposed to sing in a church service with a mask on? You can't do communion, right? Because you have a mask on. Again, I look forward to going back to the way things were. It's going to be a while. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be a while. It's going to be later than sooner, I'm sure. Yes, I would love baseball to get going. I wish baseball would find a way to get going. Those of you who know me know I absolutely love baseball. I wait all season during football, which I'm okay with. Basketball, okay, whatever, to get to baseball. To me, those are just obstacles in the way of getting to baseball. And then baseball season comes, and they do a couple weeks of spring training, and then that's it. They may not play at all. And I understand if it's because of safety reasons. They have families too, and they have that kind of thing. It's just a weird thing we're living in. People are working from home. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people want to go back to work. Some people are rushing it. Hey, let's just go back to our normal lifestyles and do this and this and this. Again, I went to that same store I was talking about earlier in the podcast today. I went down there, got a little snack, apple juice and some cashews. Do I know how to party or what, right? Yeah. Anyways, I go in there. I'm wearing a mask. Older guy comes in, no mask. Employee, no mask. I haven't seen anybody in the town I live in even wearing a mask anymore, besides me and my wife and my family. Her family lives in this town too, and they're wearing their masks. Otherwise, I haven't seen anybody else. The social distancing thing is kind of all for naught too. People are still doing their deal. I went to a graduation a couple weeks ago where it was a very small school, and they had the graduates 10 feet apart, at least. There's only 20 of them. And they did the outside ceremony. And it was 2 hours. It was close to 2 hours. They got their diplomas. They got to do their thing. It was lucky, because a lot of kids didn't get to do that. You can't do that with the bigger schools. They had it on the video, and they only allowed one car per family, and they had to watch it from their cars in the parking lot. They put it on, on the internet live. They put it on a radio station, the audio. They had a big screen there so the families could see in the car, but it's still a weird experience. All these are brand new experiences for people. This is all new stuff. We're all figuring this out. But then there's those rebels. And I have no problem being a rebel. Look, I've been a rebel most of my life. I don't like following the norm. I don't like listening. Even when I was a kid, a high school kid, I didn't want to listen to the radio station that everybody else listened to because that was a cool thing. I wanted to be a rebel. I listened to a different station. Okay? I grew my hair long in college because I wanted to rebel. Okay, I started that in high school against my parents' wishes because I wanted to rebel. Now, did I go out and do drugs or anything like that? Absolutely not. There's a way to rebel and there's a way not to rebel. But still, this is not the time to rebel. This is not the time to say, well, I'm just not going to get it. I'm going to go back to the way things are because I'm tired of this and that's it. I can control the whole world. No, you can't. You can only control yourself. And I hope for those people's cases, they never get it or anybody in their family gets it. Because then they'll realize what this is about. When you've had 348,000 deaths in the world, and almost 100,000 of those right here in the United States, I think it's something to pay attention to. Okay? I mean, those numbers have doubled in the last 2 months. It was like 50,000 here a couple months ago, and now we're almost to 100,000. And that's just the cases they know about. There's people that probably have it that never went to the doctor, that might be too stubborn to go to the doctor, or don't really have any symptoms, and they may not even know they had it. Tom Hanks had it, I mean, he did the proper thing. He quarantined himself. Yes, it's tough. Yes, I'd like to get out amongst people. I'm very much a people person. Have we had to go to stores? Absolutely, but we wear a mask. We use our sanitizer. We try to go, very little and get groceries or gas or whatever we need to do very, very seldom. So I'm going to wrap up the show here on Salmon Says with asking you to please think, okay? Again, if you're not part of the solution, you might be part of the problem. We all want this to end. This is a whole new world for all of us. But please think of other people. That's the point of wearing the masks, is for other people. You may have the germs and I know it and blow it into the air, okay? If you don't want to wear a mask, that just tells me you don't give a crap about me. That's all it's telling me. I don't care about you. All I care about is me. It's a very selfish act to not wear a mask, okay? If you want to get sick yourself, then that's your business, but I don't. So please, and for other people around you, practice social distancing. Don't get 30 people in a swimming pool yet, and wear your masks. This is Salmon Says. Salmon out.